Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you how to do live streaming with your mobile devices in plein air. Because I think now is the springtime, a lot of artists like you guys might be thinking about doing some live streaming outside, doing something different, embrace some fresh air and show your fans what you can do. Maybe you want to take your easels to a park nearby, or just the front or the backyard of your own home, or in the forest. There are a lot of things you can do, and it's time to try something new. And today I'm going to show you my setup, the things I use that are more or less affordable, from $30 to $150, that will help you boost the quality of your live streaming. Without further ado, let's get into it. The first decision you want to make is whether you want to use the front or the back camera of your mobile device. Personally, I would recommend using the back camera because usually it has better quality, has a different kind of framing. Like the front camera I have is just one fixed framing. I cannot like zoom in and zoom out. So using the back camera is definitely better personally for me. And I use a screen. If you don't want to buy a screen, you can just buy a mirror and just stick it to the back so you can see yourself in real time. But the problem is obviously if you go very far from your mobile, you can't see very well. So that's why I bought a screen. So I just need to have a Lightning to HDMI cable for my mobile, and then use something like this with large battery to power it up for 3-4 hours. I didn't try, but I can always change. But I don't mind in the middle when it ran out of power, because I already see what's in the shot, what's not, and I already got used to walking around in my workspace, so I don't need to worry about in the middle that it runs out. So that's something I personally don't mind. Nevertheless, I'm able to charge it using this micro USB port. That's another solution I want to show you. Yeah, that's another solution. When you run out of power, you can always plug something in there. And if you are going very far away from your camera, there is another way, that is using an HDMI transmitter. That is a little more expensive and not as reliable as cable. So I don't particularly recommend it to just any artist, but I think a cable solution that costs $150 is more than economic. That's more than feasible for most people. And moving on to the next is sound. I would say sound in plein air is really difficult because right now, as you can hear, it's a lot of wind. It's the springtime where the pollen is moving around, you can imagine, right? So they need the pollens to transmit, and they need to have a lot of wind to make it happen. So wind is a big issue. Personally, I would just use a lavalier mic to isolate the noise, the wind, and use a dead cat on it, or like a foam on it, and that's more or less enough because my body is also covering a bit of the wind noise. The microphone right now, I'm using a Rode Smart Lav Plus here, and you can see that there are a lot of people passing by, a lot of vehicles, a lot of wind, and I'm not really bothered compared to using a shotgun mic. I recommend using a lavalier because for most artists, lavalier mic is a lifesaver. When you're painting, you're looking and turning to a different direction. Like you're looking down, you're turning away, you're facing your canvas, then you face the camera, then you finish your canvas, and the sound is just going to go loud, quiet, and it's not very practical. So I recommend bringing the microphone as close to you as possible for the live streaming, so you can talk to your audience in a more consistent and comfortable manner, like using a lavalier. This is a wireless lavalier I bought for $35 online, and this is a $30 I bought on, I think, Amazon, so you can just get it anywhere pretty much, eBay, Amazon, or wherever. And after talking about microphone, I want to show you another very important thing is light, because as you can see, we are running out of light, the sun is setting, and we are painting outside. Likely you paint in the afternoons, and maybe after a few hours, the sun is changing, and maybe to an angle where your face is not lit or your art is not lit. That's when you need to bring out your LED light. This one I love. It has 4000 mAh or amp, so it's a very lovely little device that is really, really bright. This one is Sedan, a Chinese brand. I bought for I think like $25, and I can use a little tripod to hold it and put it somewhere. And also I can charge it when I'm using it. So that's basically the best feature I love about this. So I can charge it with a power bank like this. And this one, they're also good, but this one I have a complaint is that I can't use it while I'm charging. So imagine if I'm doing a painting of 3 hours and after 1 hour it runs out of power and suddenly the light changes and it's kind of annoying. You must make sure that when you purchase an LED light, buy something you can connect it to a power source while still be able to illuminate. Coming to the next thing is camera support. If you have a microphone, 2 LED lights, you realize that you can't comfortably put it next to your phone because normally a mobile clamp like this has only one cold shoe mount. You cannot mount more than one device, and also it's not very secure if you just pile them up. You can, but then it's kind of long and it can be blown off by the wind. So I would recommend a more sturdy rig, like a power bank here, a LED here, and a microphone here, and maybe a handle here. And you can put extra security, like there are several screws. You can secure it very securely onto the tripod or another thing, whichever thing that you are using to hold your camera. And I think this is like one of my best buys in 2021 that I got for literally like $25 on Taobao. But you can also buy, it's a small rig, so you can buy it anywhere in the world. It's like a really famous Chinese brand. If you don't want to have a rig because maybe you find it kind of bulky to put in your pocket and you want to have more devices, there is another solution that is to use some sort of adapter. So you can put the light here and the microphone here and then just put it on top of your cold shoe and secure. So this is another solution, not as multifunctional as the previous solution, but it works and it will come out cheaper. I have an extra tip for you guys. If you have a sport camera like this Osmo Action or Osmo Pocket and you want to use it for live streaming, there is a possibility. If you have the Mimo app on your smart device, you just go to the Mimo. If you have your Mimo app up to date, you see there is a live stream button and it will bring you to YouTube account, log in, and you log in, you can live stream using this Mimo app. You see this annoying recording button is not ideal, but nevertheless you're able to use your existing device for live streaming. It gives you another possibility of bringing your camera in a different position, like overhead or on a tree or in a really awkward location where you cannot access with your mobile. And in general, it's just give you another angle, another possibility to showcase your art. Before closing this video, I want to show you the last thing. I promise it is the last thing. It's getting a little bit boring, I know. This is a teleprompter. A friend of mine gave it to me and I haven't had the chance to use it because of a silly thing. So it's not a sponsored video because I'm going to tell you how silly this device is. So it's a mobile teleprompter you're able to use with this little remote. You can use your mobile behind, use a camera as well, and you can use a tablet or mobile below to use it for the reflection. And it should snap off easily, but I couldn't do it, so I haven't had the chance to take advantage of this. But I think the good thing is you are able to remind yourself some crucial kind of information that you want to mention during the live streaming. For example, you want to mention some specs of some products or some kind of reminder what to say, what not to say, so you don't mess up. So that's the use of it. I don't really recommend using it throughout your live streaming, like reading and scrolling down and reading from the teleprompter, because I think it's not very natural when you're doing live streaming and you're like teleprompting and then it's stuck and then like you pause and you're like reading from the screen. It's not very natural. So I would recommend you just use it in the beginning or in the end, so you mention some crucial messages so that you don't like forget it, but I would not recommend using it throughout your live streaming. So now you have seen everything that I use. Another thing before closing is that make sure you secure your tripod because it can get really windy, especially in the springtime. Once I had a tripod flew over onto my head once while I was shooting outside. It was almost an accident, but nothing really serious happened. I would say when you can go outside, enjoy the spring, do some streaming in plein air, do some painting, and come home safe. then it's already a success. It's not about how many people have viewed it, how many subscribers you have gained through this action. The most important thing is you enjoyed it, you came back home safe, and hopefully you have learned something from this experience. All right, that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching this video. It's getting cold, so I'm gonna put on my jacket. See you next time.